Hi, my name is Jane Powell. Welcome to Community Connections, brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. This is a show showcasing community involvement, and today we're going to talk about the city of Montgomery. My guest is Mayor Greg Ingram. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jane, for having me. It's a pleasure.
I want to hear all about Montgomery.
Hey, we've got a lot of things going on up there, and we're tickled to death to be down here to share those things with you. We've got a lot of interesting things coming, and there's more interesting things that are going to come. I mean, we haven't stopped working on things in the community, and it's going to be exciting.
So before we jump into Montgomery, why don't you tell me a little bit about you? How long have you been mayor?
Well, I've been mayor for 5 years.
Okay.
Before that, I was recorder for 8 years. And during that time, I also worked for Walker Machinery and Caterpillar Tractor Company for 43 years.
Wow.
I was born in Spencer, West Virginia, and that's where the story started, I guess. I lived in a single-family home, and just the normal kid growing up, and we finally made our way to Cheyenne, Cabin Creek area. Then I married a Montgomery girl, and that's where I stayed.
Wow, sounds like you did all right then.
I did.
So Montgomery, what's your favorite thing about Montgomery?
Montgomery is a unique little community. Montgomery is a community that has a history of coal. Mm-hmm. It has a history of having 2 colleges. Was very blessed in having 2 colleges.
Wow, that's great.
We had Bridge Valley Community Technical College, and it's still there. Mm-hmm. West Virginia Tech was there for 120 years or so, and they decided to move to Beckley. But it's known for coal primarily. It was grown on coal, very booming back in the 70s, 80s, mm-hmm. Big community. And as coal declined, it started to take on a little different look and a little different feel in the Upper Kanawha Valley, as did all the towns up there. And then when Tech decided to leave, that was a shock. And I think that was the point where city government had to either realize, either had to do something different, or we just had to dissolve. I mean, we had 2 choices. And I have to give my hats off to my employees and my council. They are not quitters. They decided that we can do this. So we put our heads together, and we did. We're bringing the town back to life, and it's been a long road.
What's that saying, when it gets tough, the tough get going?
That's right. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to dance in the rain. But we had, one of my favorite Lincoln quotes is, "There's only one way to predict the future, and that's to create it." Mm-hmm. And so we ran with that, and we started a vision, and we do have a lot of visionaries there. We started saying, what if we do this, what if we do that, what normal communities would do, mm-hmm. in a situation like this. And so it had its pain, but without pain there's no gain.
That's right.
And I just thank God for the little community of Montgomery, the history of Montgomery, and it's going to be a different place here in another 4 or 5 years.
Wow. So tell me about some of the things that you've done that you're proud of, and then we'll talk about some of the things that you're planning to do.
Well, one of the things I'm very proud of is we finished the first ever comprehensive plan in Montgomery.
Nice.
Usually it's larger communities that do those because they have the staff to do it. We finally, volunteers spent 3.5 years.
Wow.
With the WVU Law Clinic to create the comprehensive plan for Montgomery.
You're not kidding when you say comprehensive. Oh,
yes, it is.
Years.
And
right.
when you start from scratch, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But my hat is off to that whole committee because they worked free of charge. It was community citizens. Mm-hmm. And then we got home rule. Home rule allowed us to fill up some of the gaps in our budget that was left when WU Tech left. Home rule is a 1% sales tax. That's one of the things it does. It also allows us to make intergovernmental agreements that a lot quicker than what you normally do. Home rule allows you to do a lot of things. And home rule was normally reserved for the Class 1, Class 2 cities. They finally opened up a few spots for Class 4 cities. And Montgomery and Logan were in the same meeting. The mayor in Logan and I are friends. We talk occasionally, but they were there with us. So they got their home rule also.
Good.
So we're Class 4 communities. We're small communities. And then right on the heels of Montgomery, Smithers did the same thing. So I think their taxes start in this July. But what I want to say about home rule is this, especially the small communities. You know, way back, big box stores put the little man out of business.
They changed it, game.
It changed. And now the internet is putting the big box stores out of business. So it's coming back, it's full circle. So with home rule, we collect a penny sales tax on everything that's bought on the internet that's in our postal area. That is an amazing amount of money that is sold in Montgomery over the internet. So we've done those things. We've, oh golly, I could go on forever the things we've accomplished. We've probably had 6 or 8 studies done in the area from North Carolina. The Virginia Tech School came in and did a study. The W Law Clinic has done studies on Montgomery. The ARC financed some studies on Montgomery. And, you know, I thought in my first year or two of being mayor that a mayor just went to meetings to be studied. But we're through that now. We're over that. And now I say to everyone, I don't need any more study dollars. We have a comprehensive plan now. We know what we need. The rest of the world knows what we need.
Okay.
And it's time to move on now with construction dollars. So that's where we are now. We're going after construction dollars to make a big difference for all the residents there.
So Montgomery is transforming itself.
It is transforming itself, definitely. It's not the city it was 6 or 8 years ago. You know, when I ran for mayor, I knew Tech was leaving because they had made the announcement in 2015, I think, and I ran for mayor in 2016. So I knew they were leaving. But I felt like that I had something I could offer the town, and I had a vision for some things that needed to happen. I thought that because of the tremendous and excellent training I got working for the Walker family here in the Kanawha Valley, I thought I had the financial mind that I could help us get out of this deep hole we were in. But once I was elected, I didn't know how deep the hole was. We had to lay some people off. All of our employees went to 4 days a week. The elected officials didn't cash paychecks. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, that's hard.
And now we're paying a good wage to our employees. We're fixing streets and putting new street lights in. We're doing some things. And we're not out of the woods yet. We have a long way to go. But we are going to be different, and we're going to be transformed.
You mentioned street lights, and just personally, I think they change everything. It just makes the city more inviting, friendlier, safer. I love street lights, so good for you.
we have several people that are on our beautification committee. Street lights, banners, flags. We have it all on our front street now. And we still have other things that are coming. You know, we have benches. And the thing about the street lights is the community did that themselves. There's not one grant dollar in that. That was, you could buy a street light and a pole, and you got a recognition tag on the pole.
Oh, really
we paid
nice.
for all of it.
Yeah,
all of
really,
it by donations.
really nice.
And it's amazing. We still have a few little bugs in there that we've got some that come on and go off, you know, but we'll work that out. But that the community did that. It was not city government.
So you mentioned some beautification projects. Tell me more about that. I'm a gardener, so I'm hoping there's a few gardens in there.
Well, Mayor Cavalier in Smithers is the big gardener.
Oh, okay.
She has a farmer's market going in, and we are so close geographically that I don't know that 2 farmers markets would survive. And Mayor Cavalier definitely has a green thumb. She has the most beautiful flower garden that anywhere in the Upper Kanawha Valley, in my opinion. And so she does the farmers market thing, but we recently went together with Smithers, and we got some hub grants for $40,000, and there were
Nice.
many grants, $2,000
Wow.
apiece. So we did a lot of beautification projects.
Good.
We did murals, we did signage. We're working on food boxes and the food boxes that you can leave some food, or it's there for the people that need it. I've had our local dentist has given me a couple thousand toothbrushes, just things that people need that some of us take for granted. It's been a great project, and all these hub projects, the West Virginia Hub, were sponsored. It was sponsored by them. The community just stepped up. One of the rules was that Mayor Cavalier and I could not take on a project because we do a lot.
Right.
It was a community thing to get the community activated, and we spent all $40,000.
Well, they're more invested, so that's wonderful.
Absolutely, and it's just exciting to be part of that. And again, Montgomery and Smithers, we're small communities. So you see all of these things as big victories. If you're in a larger community, $40,000 is not a lot of money. But when you're in a small community, that makes a big difference.
Heck
to
yeah,
your
$40,000 is a lot of money.
40 grand is a lot of money for Montgomery and Smithers. And the other thing we've done that we're so excited about is Mayor Cavalier and I had this brainstorm. It was before she became mayor, to create a intergovernment entity where the city of Montgomery and the city of Smithers could both finance this entity and share services. So we formed, through the Secretary of State's office, what we call the Strategic Initiative Council. It's funded by the city of Montgomery and the city of Smithers. West Virginia State University provides us with an extension agent, and we have Kanawha and Fayette counties that help us occasionally. What we do there is, right now we have, through the Strategic Initiative Council and West Virginia State, we have an extension agent which does grant writing and things to help the two communities.
Great.
We have a code enforcement officer that the two cities pay for through the Strategic Initiative Council, because neither city could afford a code enforcement officer on their own.
I'm sorry, does a code
The code enforcement
Enforcement officer.
He's not a police officer as you and I would know it. What the code enforcement officer does is he makes sure your grass is cut, you don't create any open dumps by putting garbage in your yard.
I gotcha.
He's just all the city codes. So he enforces the codes in Montgomery and Smithers.
Nice.
We have an agreement that how we pay. It's all through the Strategic Initiative Council. Also, we share some sanitary employees. Smithers had a sanitary employee to retire, so we decided, hey, what if Montgomery helps do all of your sanitary work, and in payment of that, you just pay us by the hour or something, instead of hiring another employee with benefits and all these things. So that's working out great. So the bottom line is this, and I could go on and on, garbage trucks and garbage drivers and all this stuff that we're sharing when we have to. It's the only way small communities are going to survive. And I think this is an example of what a lot of you've got to band together. Over the years, small communities, and well, really, a lot of communities have fallen into the trap of, this is my sandbox and you stay out of it. Can't survive that way anymore. We're all in this together.
Well, it sounds like you and Mayor Cavalier are both independent in your cities, but then you're also working together.
We're very independent. We have our own projects that we do on each side of the river. But when it's something that is regional, something that affects both cities, we come together through the Strategic Initiative Council. And again, that has the mayor from each town, a city council member from each town, and a business owner at large from each town. So there's a representation there, and we're going to expand that.
Nice.
But it's a wonderful, there's people that we've helped the town of Cowan, and we're little ourselves, but we've helped the town of Cowan with code enforcement. We've branched out and helped different people. So hopefully you'll hear a lot about the Strategic Initiative Council in the future.
That's great. I know you are good at partnerships. I'm happy to say that you are partnering with the foundation. Tell me a little bit how that came about.
Well, when I first became mayor, as I said earlier, the coal industry was in decline. West Virginia Tech had decided to move to Beckley, and that left an awful gaping hole in our finances. We still have long-term debt, 40 years, in our sanitary plant because the university, we upgraded our plant to handle the university, and they left, and we still have that payment to make.
Right.
So there's some long-term debt that was left there. But it's a challenge, and we'll get through it somehow or another.
Yeah, of course you will.
Yeah. Did I miss the question?
Well, you set it up for me.
Okay.
So you've got this challenge, and things have been really tough, but they're getting a little better now.
Yeah. I did forget the question.
And you are making plans for the future.
When I first became mayor, let me back up. When I first became mayor, you know, it was really tough. And I decided that I never wanted another administration to walk into this type of a gaping hole in Montgomery. Small communities have a hard enough time surviving, and so with the help of my council, we came up with the idea to open some investment opportunities with the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation that people that lived in Montgomery could give to. That this is an investment tool, and it has all kinds of rules, and Michelle was so good to work with us, and it took us a long time. It was months because we had to iron out it is a public entity. We were investing dollars, but it's not tax dollars. It was dollars that we had in another way. But this gives the people that lived in Montgomery for years, or maybe you went to West Virginia Tech and you like the community, you can contribute to this fund. And what this fund does is it sets up perpetual income for the city of Montgomery through the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. There's no better sound in anybody's ears, especially if you're in public government, that someday when you need some money, there's money out there. I was so protective of the principle, and this is what Dr. Foster and I worked so hard on. I was so protective of the principle that I didn't want anybody to get the principal. I said, we're putting this money in. It needs to stay there. They can have the interest off of it. So what we did, we couldn't really do that because we are a public government. So what we did is we said, okay, the mayor and 4/5 of the council has to sign off to touch up to 85% of the principal. You don't get this type of service with just anybody. But the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation was just amazing to work with. It was months getting all this worked out between the attorneys and the legal people on our side and the Greater Kanawha Valley side. So now there is a vehicle out there that if you want to leave some money, when you get ready to leave this great earth, there's a vehicle out there that you can leave money to your hometown, whether you live there or not. But I see it as future funds for the city of Montgomery for some, because we're going to have some more bad days. We're going to have rainy days. That's why we have rainy day funds. But this is just a vehicle to fix that, and I am so appreciative of the professionalism of the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation, just in all aspects.
Well, thank you for that. I'm glad that it all worked out, and I think it will be good for Montgomery in the future. So I like that a lot. So when we think about the future, what are some things coming up in Montgomery? I heard something about a fishing pier.
We have a fishing pier that the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation helped fund this, and you know, I never was exposed to the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation until I became mayor. And of course, when I was broke, it was a source of funding. So I started working with the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation and learned that these people are really, you guys are really professionals. I'm telling you, working with Michelle and the other folks, Todd, and the ones that helped me with this fishing pier project, honestly, the process is amazing how you all give the people a coach.
Good.
To help
That's good to hear.
to help you because you don't know how to maneuver all the roadblocks. But the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation gave us a coach. The coach worked us through it. Then we had to go before a review committee. The coach was there to help us and tell us, what's going to happen and how it went. You don't find any other federal or state grant organization giving you a coach. They throw the roadblocks and let you fall over it. But the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation did not do that. And I prayed that we got this money. They didn't know how bad I wanted this. And lo and behold, we went before the review committee, and we got the grant. It was for a kayak. It was through the health segment of the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. And it was to include a kayak launch on a fishing pier that we had already received funding from other ways to build the main pier and park.
That sounds like fun.
Oh, it is. It's going to be great, and then the location couldn't be in a better place. It's right between Montgomery General Hospital and the Montgomery Elderly Home. So if someone comes to visit their mother that might be in the elderly home, they can take them out on the fishing pier and overlook the river and enjoy the day that way. If you're a kayak enthusiast, this is the only access on the Upper Kanawha Valley for kayaks.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's going to be provided by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. We had a lot of hiccups in getting where we are today. During COVID, we had to get the sign-off by the Native Americans because of just where we are. We're in Montgomery. And their offices, their historic preservation offices, were closed for a year. Again, the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation, I said, I can't give you a final report because we haven't even started yet, and it's 2 years down the road. They were so gracious to give me an extension because they understood I had all the documents, that we were held up on the big money because of COVID. So we're still in the process. We're going to build it all. In fact, phase 1 of that project has been given to a contractor, and we look for construction to start this summer. And so thankful, so thankful. You don't know what that meant to me as a young mayor, needing a few dollars to make something happen.
Well, I'm glad. Sounds like you're going to take it and run with it.
We're going to run with it, and I thank the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation for making that dream come true.
Yeah, so tell me some other plans for Montgomery. What else is happening?
Well, we have, through a program with the Kanawha County Commission, they've invested a lot of money in the Upper Kanawha Valley. And we have a new restaurant coming that was, it's Fruits of Labor, their original restaurant's in Raynell. And it's a restaurant that helps folks that have fallen into addiction or those type things. It is a Class 1 restaurant. I mean, in my opinion, this is Greg Ingram's opinion. It's a sit-down chef's type restaurant.
Wow.
It's first class. And Tammy Jordan is the proprietor of that organization. And if a person stays with her 3 or 5 years, and I'm not sure of how long it is, they will graduate there as a master chef. And this is going to be farm-to-table food. Her farm's in Greenbrier County, so it's West Virginia food, and she's going to sell some of her products there in a cooler out front, and also West Virginia grown meats will be sold there. So that's a big thing.
That's a really big thing. So
yeah.
Not only does Montgomery get great food, the employees get training.
They do.
In a new career path.
And again, the Kanawha County Commission, under a program that was originated by Ben Salango, she got a $10,000 forgivable loan through those folks, or through the Kanawha County Commission, that enabled her to do that, and we thank them every day. Another thing that the Kanawha County Commission has done is they have a big plan called the Valley. It starts at Kanawha State Forest and runs all the way to Golly Bridge.
Oh, wow.
It's about a $40 million project, and it's going to bring the Hatfield-McCoy Trail to Montgomery. It will be a new trail in the system. On the Smithers side, they're going to have the Mammoth Preserve, which is equestrian hiking, biking type trails. And
You're going to need that restaurant with all those people.
we're going to need a lot of
town.
restaurants, and it'll connect into Blue Creek and go over toward Clendenin, so it's really going to serve Kanawha County really well.
Yeah, I think Montgomery will see a lot of traffic.
Absolutely, we're looking forward to it. We're going to have to change some rules about four-wheelers. We don't allow them right now, but we're going to have to allow them. So I'm looking forward to that because I'll buy one.
Oh, you will you? Okay, that'll make headline news.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
Yeah, that's fun. You have stepped into Montgomery at a hard time, but I think brighter days are in store.
We are about halfway there. There is some more big announcements coming that, of course, I'm not at liberty to talk about today, but they'll probably be made by the end of summer. Some more exciting things that's going to come to Montgomery. Golly, I could go on and on. We've got housing development going on up there that's going to be for low-income seniors. It will be, it's called affordable housing, which means it's not government assisted, but they do, your rent is based on your income. So that will be great because we need affordable senior housing in the Upper Kanawha Valley. So that starts construction this month. And that's in the old Kobe building, those of you that are familiar with the tech place, or the tech campus. And it's going to be a wonderful addition. I could go on and on and on. We have so many things going on in Montgomery, and there's so many people that's helped us do it. And the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation's right there helping us every step of the way.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that we're doing a good job. That's always...
Doing a great job.
I like it. Okay. I know that you have some public art that's happening in Montgomery. So that's always fun, just to make traveling down the street a little better.
It is. We had a side of a building that where another building had been torn down, and through one of the Hub mini grants, the local artist, River Valley artist, put together a team, and they put a huge mural on that building. It's now going to be a landmark, you know, like any mural is. Just go down to the big Montgomery mural. But it has a history of some of the old things in Montgomery, and you know, train tracks and tech, of course, Old Main, and some of the things that happened over the years.
Oh, nice. I don't want us to leave without talking about ways people can get in touch with you.
Sure, you can call me at City Hall, 304-442-5181. My email address is gingram@montgomerywv.gov, and call anytime. You know, we get calls from people out of state and everything else about suggestions, folks that went to school at Tech, and we welcome all those things because those people, they really have a little piece of Montgomery in them. And just like I say about the Challenge Academy cadets now, and I tell them at graduation, you know, you're making memories. You'll never forget Montgomery. And I think Montgomery has touched so many lives in this way, not just the country, but the world, with the engineering school, Bridge Valley. Montgomery's touched more lives than you realize, and I'm just proud to be part of it.
Well, Mayor Ingram, you're touching lives every day. You and your city council are doing good work. And I'm so happy you were here today to talk with us about it.
Well, thank you for inviting me, and it's been a pleasure.
All right, quickly, to get in touch with Mayor Ingram, that's 304-442-5181. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been Community Connections, brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. We'll see you next time.